What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining the Reyes Reflection podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the pod, share the show, and follow me on the socials at I'm Nathanael Reyes. Now I have to talk about those folks that bring the pod to you. Jocko Fuel, clean fuel without compromise. Mad Rabbit, Tattoo Aftercare, be bold, be you. Use that promo code Reyes Reflection at both those sites for a discount on your order. And lastly, Arave cards, completing sets, one card at a time. Check out their eBay, Facebook, and their streams on Whatnot to get yourself started on your Pokemon card collection today. Now, intro time for my next guest. Some of you may have seen him on Aka Pop Kids. Others may have seen him on a commercial for the Drop Dot Ball, but others may think he is Shawn Mendes' doppelganger. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the pop rock heartbreaker, Tanner Massey. Welcome to the pod.
What is up? Thank you so much for having me. I was super excited for this. I wanted to do this the other week, and then a bunch of things just came out of nowhere, and then I had to delay it. I felt super bad. I'm super happy to be on here with you, man.
No worries, brother. I completely understand. Yeah, you have a lot of projects and stuff like that going. You're a really busy guy. I'm even glad that you even took the time to sit with me. I appreciate that, dude.
Dude, absolutely, man. Yeah, it's like life has been kind of crazy recently, especially recently. And yeah, I can't wait to get into everything that's been going on.
Well, share some of it. What's been going on lately? What are new projects post show? We'll obviously get into the show and everything like that and your acting career and stuff like that, but let's get into it. What are some things that you're into now post show?
For sure, man. So really what's been going on lately is I've been figuring out like my next steps, specifically what I'm actually going to be doing. And a lot of it has been me working on myself. I've been getting into the gym. I've been taking care of my skin more. I've been like just caring for myself in general, just figuring out all of those things, figuring out my fundamental needs. And then like literally today is like the day that I am going back on social media. I took like a small break. Like I haven't posted much in like 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks or something. And I literally, that time has just been spent, and honestly, a lot of this year has just been spent me taking care of myself and just figuring out my whole life in general. And now today I'm back, man. And this interview right here is the start of it.
I'm glad, dude. Health is wealth, man. I completely understand that. I too have had to go through some of those trials and tribulations individually within myself. And one of the blessings and curses about this podcast is I have people send me some things, some questions, even just asking for advice. And one of the things I opened up last night, funny enough, was somebody said, I want to be in love with this girl, but she's seeing this other guy. What do I do? How do I get her to notice me? Blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And the best advice that I could give him is I said, dude, be someone that you'd be willing to fall in love with yourself.
Exactly.
And that's the best advice I could give you. Don't worry. I understand that. I think because of the way we are nowadays, we're fast, 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 and
Yeah.
everything is comparative, right? Everyone goes,
Mhm.
well, I have friends that are 25, 30, and they're married, or I'm 19, 20, and they've been with their girlfriend for the last 2 years, and I'm single, and blah, blah, blah. And I always say, yeah, but everybody, it's the beautiful thing about life is it's nuanced, and everybody's going to go ahead and find their path the way they can. So don't rush the process. And it sounds like for you, you took some time for yourself, which is very important. It's very crucial. It's what you needed.
Oh yeah.
So I'm encouraged to hear that, man. It makes me happy to hear when somebody takes time for themselves. Going to the gym, I think that that's so good, clarity wise. For me, it's a clarity thing. I go to the gym primarily because one, obviously, I like feeling good about myself, but another
Mhm.
reason is just the mental clarity, and even just I showed up for myself. It doesn't matter about
Exactly. Yeah.
if I'm gonna get the biggest muscles or whatever the case may be. I showed up
Exactly.
for myself. Yeah.
Like that stuff and this is just kind of how I see it generally. The aesthetic part of it, or the feeling of it and all that, that is a side effect of taking care of yourself and just and like treating yourself, more like your body is a temple and everything. And I haven't had that mentality my whole life. I would eat pretty much whatever, I would do pretty much whatever I wanted. And like this past year definitely gave me a lot of motivation. There's a lot of personal reasons as to why that is, that I haven't shared publicly or anything. There's a lot of things that happen in my life that, one day I'll be open to sharing and everything. But basically what it really is that whenever I show up at the gym, I just I feel like I did something good just by showing up, for one. And then I've really trained my brain to enjoy these kinds of things. Like for eating healthy food, for example, like eating healthier in a sense, I don't see it as like, because like a lot of people see this thing where it's like, oh yeah, it just tastes worse, it just tastes like crap. And I think what you really have to get in your head is that like a part of it tasting good is it making you feel good, basically. And that's, again, this is all stuff I'm learning like myself. Like, trust me, this is all very new stuff to me. But it's just, I don't know. Whenever I know something's going to give me more energy, whenever I know something's going to make me feel better afterwards, like after I eat it or something, it just makes me feel so much better about what I'm like doing in general. And there's like a way better way to phrase this, and someone who is good with words would probably be better at this. But yeah, I've really gotten into my health and everything over the last 6 months, just because there was a lot of things going wrong in my life, it felt like, and I felt like I needed to have something to lean back on, something to like feel like I'm pushing myself forward as a person in general.
Isn't it awesome how it all intertwines too? Like, personally speaking, I feel like I don't know what you're going through, and I won't press on it, but I'll speak for myself. 2.5 years ago, I was going through a lot in my life personally, trying to figure out who I wanted to be, made a lot of poor decisions. I just came off of a catastrophic knee injury where where I needed to have surgery on it. So personally speaking, I was just battling a lot of demons. And
Yeah.
for myself, it was one of those situations where you talked about training your mind. I found that implementing software in your brain, because we're all programmed to some degree, whether it be positive, negative, we all can listen to people, or we all have channels that we listen to, whether it
Yeah.
be social media, TV, books, whatever, where you gain your influence from and you gain your outlook on life, I guess you could say. And the reason why I bring that up is because I have found that you brought up a very good point. I have found that the spin of positivity is so
Yeah.
important, and it's such a
Mm-hmm.
crucial tool to use for yourself. You could sit there and go, well, I would love to have pizza right now, but I guess I'll settle for this broccoli, chicken, and rice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such an important information in your head to go, this is going to help me right now. It's going to make me feel better, and it's going to
Exactly.
make me, my skin, everything. And like I said, everything intertwines with one another. The way that you are here helps everything here, helps your brain, helps the way you talk, helps the way you even communicate with other people. And I love listening to this, man. I for what it's worth, the day that you decide to be comfortable enough to share your story, I am going to be your biggest fan, because I have nothing but admiration and respect for people that take that time and look at themselves and say, something is going wrong. What can I do to fix this? And I think that that's a tool that a lot of people don't use. And this might
Mm-hmm.
be harsh, but I always like to tell my friends, family, you know, you looking at yourself in the mirror and realizing that something is wrong shows strength. It's not coming from a place
Exactly.
of weakness. A lot of people will sit there and go, wow, look at how weak I am right now because I am going through this, and I don't know how I got myself at this point, but I put myself here. And you're ashamed, you're embarrassed, but you looking at yourself in the mirror, you showing up for yourself, whatever it be, work, at the gym, with your friends, just even yourself, it all ties in one another. So you showing up for yourself, dude, you have a fan in life from me just for hearing you say that, because you showing up for yourself shows the type of person that you are, shows who Tanner is as a person. So kudos to you, my friend. I'm proud of you, dude, for what it's worth.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I think it's always important to make a silver lining in anything, and that's like always what I've done pretty consistently. And it's something that I actually am proud of. Is that whenever something happens that's like negative in my life, I always need to have like something to look forward to at the end of it. Something that I'm gaining out of losing something. So whether it's like the voice, whether it's like a video or something doesn't do as well as I thought it would, or just something that happens, I always try to learn from it. I always try to get better. And at a certain point, I feel like those things add up. Those things accumulate over time, and you don't even notice it. And it's like, as a person, I just wouldn't notice these changes that happen to me, but they make me more confident. They make me more adversity just becomes a natural part of my life, and I can just push through it without, feeling like, oh, it's just, I'm just not ever going to be enough. Oh yeah, I can do these things. It's just never going to blow up. You know what I mean? I don't have that mentality with anything. I do believe that, like, I can do great things. And if I, work hard enough, if I push myself past everything bad that's going to happen in my life, I generally believe that I can come out on the other side with something really good.
And the truth is bad things are going to happen.
Oh yeah.
I was having this discussion the other day. I said, I'm a big comic book guy. Do you realize even in comic books, you can learn a lot from them? And what I mean by that is
100%.
Bad things will happen to the heroes and bad things will happen to the villains, but it's how you perceive that situation and how you use that to motivate you. And I just love what you said there, because I feel like I can relate. For example, there are times where I have a podcast and I feel like I did great. I'm like, boom, I was on point. I said the best things. I was on fire. The guest was great, whatever. And then all of a sudden the listens aren't as high as I would like them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I've learned in this journey is fall in love with the process and the progress of the journey, not just the results. Fall in love
Exactly.
with what it is that you're doing, love what you do. And if it blows up, fantastic. If it doesn't, at least, even right here, if this doesn't blow up, at least I had a genuine heart-to-heart conversation with somebody, and I felt that we were empathetic and could relate to each other, and even just purge out some feelings and some thoughts for an hour or whatever the case may be. So
yeah,
I definitely understand that feeling as well. I do.
Absolutely.
Let's transition now. So I want to get this out of the way. On The Voice, you were told that you look like Shawn Mendes. How many times have you been told that? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think you look like him?
Okay, first of all, not at all. Like, I've seen people that look like Shawn Mendes. Okay, I've seen them actively on Instagram, on TikTok. And I'm like, okay, this person actually looks like Shawn Mendes. Like, actually is just literally Shawn Mendes. I remember there was this other guy I saw on Instagram the other day. Well, not the other day, but actually a few months ago. His name was Tanner Grigoli. I can't remember exactly how to pronounce the last name, but he had like my name, and he's just Shawn Mendes. Like, he's actually Shawn Mendes. He like plays guitar. He's got like the whole setup and everything. And I'm like, this is Shawn Mendes. And there's so many people in like this weird kind of genre where we're all kind of trying to like do the Shawn Mendes thing again. A lot of people, I feel like, are trying to do that. And okay, for a 1 to 10, I would say like a 4. And it's literally just because, like, Shawn Mendes is Shawn Mendes. I'm not ever going to say I look like Shawn Mendes. I'm going to leave that to the people to decide. But I don't know. His facial structure is different,
Yeah.
And like, we have somewhat similar hair, but isn't his hair a little bit more like curly-ish? Pretty sure it is, right?
Yes, it's a little bit more curly, a little bit more wavy. Yes,
but our voices are very similar.
Okay.
That is for sure. Like, I think he's got like a slightly lower like belt range or something like that. But we have very similar voices, like very, very similar.
So you don't see it that much?
No, I don't. Like,
Okay.
I see. Who do I see for me? Honestly, I don't even know. Like, someone told me the other day I looked like Jacob Collier.
Oh, okay. I could see that too.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I genuinely don't know who I look like when it comes to people. I would say Shawn Mendes is like somewhat accurate.
Yes.
But I can't say that because Shawn Mendes is super handsome and cool and people love him. And I'm not going to be that guy that's like, oh yeah, I'm like Shawn Mendes, actually. I look just like him, actually.
Yeah, right.
Like, so many people have told me I look like Justin Bieber, Shawn Mendes. Like, what is another one? I like James Arthur. Like, it's just like people have like a list of guy celebrities that they just kind of run down the list for if you're a guy singer at 19 or 18. I feel like there's just like a list of guys that they're like, okay, yeah, you actually look like this person. I'm like, how?
That also went through the same thing, so maybe that's why they
maybe yeah.
There, right? Yep.
And I take it as a compliment, like 100%. Like, to be compared to a celebrity is very much a compliment. But I feel like not quite there.
Right.
Not quite exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, you're Tanner Massey. That's what it is.
Hey, I'll take that.
That's right. Before we get into your singing career now, you also acted. I mentioned the drop ball commercial. Talk to me about your early acting days because you traveled a lot and did a lot of auditions and things like that.
Yeah, so I have always been kind of just in a general entertainment world, even though I'm in Oklahoma, which makes it very difficult to sometimes do stuff like that.
Yep.
But early on, when I was like 12, I think. I was just making videos on YouTube of me singing random songs like "Who's Loving You" by, and I remember I would watch these old videos and I would be like, wow, that the audio is just blaring in your ears, like nobody wants to listen to that. But eventually what happened is that a talent agency out in Los Angeles, um, a woman named Annette, she reached out to me and she was like, hey, I think you would be, I think you like have like the it factor for acting. And like she would want to see how like I could, portray a character through a self tape. So basically you'd set up a camera and you'd set up a background and everything. And then you just perform to the camera as if you're doing like your part. And I didn't know that. That's how that worked. So the first thing that I ever auditioned for was the Lion King musical. Okay, and it's like because it's kind of like a singing act, a singing kind of thing. So keep in mind, there's a professional way of doing this that all of these talent agents are waiting for, and like they're expecting, okay, yeah, they're going to send it in with good lighting. It's going to be, it's going to center focus on you. What I did instead was I got my whole family together in one shot with my dad's messy table and a messy room. We all did different parts at the same time. Why I ever thought this was a thing that we should do, I have no idea. But like we all did the different parts as if they needed to be on camera and needed to do their individual parts at the same time. And she died laughing watching the video I sent. But over time, we started to finally get a hang of how to do these videos because I was just doing them with my parents.
Yeah.
That's just how I had done it. Over time, yeah, I actually started to get really close to roles. I've never landed like a big, like role or anything, but I've gotten very close and I've gotten much farther than I would ever think I would, being like super green in acting. I never had like personal coaching.
Yeah.
I've always just been kind of feeling it through, but I'm definitely getting better at it, and who knows, someday something might happen.
Are you still pursuing an acting career?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, believe it or not. Well, like I'll get like auditions sent to me.
Yep.
And sometimes like it will be, hey, I think Tanner would look good doing something like this, and then I would send it in, and I'd wait, but nothing completely has happened yet. And I'm also still focusing on my music and everything at the same time. But yeah, I am still definitely in the running for that.
A multifaceted individual. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to fill all the threats.
Yes. A Swiss Army knife of
Yes.
entertainment. That's what Tanner will. Yes. I like that. No, acting is very tough because I've done some small films. I've done some small productions. Again, I've never landed like a massive role. I guess I was the main bad guy in a college film, a short film, which was cool because few years back we were in a Rhode Island, like some college award show.
Okay.
And it was cool. It was fun, but acting is so tough because there's different channels, there's different avenues, and there's times where I've gone to auditions and I've been told you did fantastic. We wish we could cast you. You just don't have the look of what we're looking for. And maybe that's just something they say to soften the blow, maybe. But
I think that every single time.
Right. But there is something to be a little frustrated at times because you're like, man, you're telling me I did great. You're telling me I did everything right. But because I don't have a certain look that you're looking for. So in some aspects, but it's true. I mean, there's some cases where they look for a certain part, right? And you don't look that part. Like if they're looking for somebody who is tall and skinny, that's not going to be me. I'm not a tall person. I'm 5'6". Like, I'm not a tall person. So I might not fit the mold that they're looking for. So,
dude, and that kind of thing just happens so much. Like, there will be the slightest thing that could determine whether you get a role or not. And I'll see this a lot whenever I'm watching, just generally just watching shows. There will be some sort of tone or atmosphere that all the actors just, it feels like they've all just somehow unanimously agreed upon. And I have no idea where they get this like sixth sense of like exactly how to act. So I'll watch a show like let's see here, like I don't know. Man, I was gonna say one, but I was like, wow, I probably shouldn't say that one on here.
you can say whatever you want.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, you know what? Screw it. I watched a show that is not for children,
Okay.
called The Boys. Okay,
Okay.
and the actors in this show just have such a way of just discerning. Okay, this is exactly how I need to play this character, and all of the ways that like they bounce off of the other characters and everything just makes sense. And I know that these people, these casting directors and everything, know exactly what they're looking for. They have exactly what they want in their mind, and it's very intimidating sometimes. I'll like overthink like what I need to be doing. Is there is there something I need to say? Is there like an extra little thing I need to add into the script that's going to make like, oh, this is the person we need.
Right.
And yeah, it's just really tough to know exactly what people are looking for sometimes, especially whenever you get a script or something and it has like nothing of no like it doesn't tell you to do anything specific. You kind of have to make it up yourself.
Yeah.
And that can be intimidating for sure, like 100%.
It's subjective, right? And it's how you interpret it, because you and I could receive the same exact script with the same exact type of character. Let's say they say arrogant, whatever, but your version of arrogance might be different than mine. You know,
Exactly.
mine might be a subtle one. Yours might be a loud, boisterous one. You never know. So that's I completely understand that. Acting is such a tough field, but I'm happy to hear that you're still pursuing that avenue, because it is a fun avenue also to pursue. And I think even myself, there were times where I'd get discouraged from not getting,
Yeah.
because you can go to countless auditions and not get a call back and not even hear anything. And that it's happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to many others. But it's also that quick moment in time where you're like, you know what, for 10-15 minutes I got to play this character, I got to do whatever I wanted, I got to creatively create this person in this world in my own head. So there is some fun behind it. There's some enthusiasm that you get of being able to just create this little person that you wanted to do for a while. Yeah.
100%. It is a ton of fun. And it's like sometimes I'll get a role that is just so not like me at all that I'm like, wow, okay, so I get to just be a completely like polar opposite of who I am. And that's just, it's a very freeing kind of thing. And for people that, get to do it a lot, like this is like, their full career and everything. I can't imagine like what that feeling must be like.
Yeah.
To just have like just have a switch in your head to just be a completely different person.
Yeah.
That's always something I've like kind of dreamed of having. It's a really cool thing to me.
Yeah, some of those people are absolutely fascinating. It's funny you say that. The role that I played the bad guy in, I was actually auditioning to play the main good guy in that film.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot.
And for some reason, they thought I would portray a better bad guy. And afterwards, it's because the director said, your eyes were a little bit more serious, and I could see something in there. And like I said, it's subjective, but it is a really cool field. And I've done some acting classes, and even just doing small little skits in acting classes. It's fun. It's a great time. So I'm glad to hear that you're still pursuing that, my friend.
Absolutely.
How did the Acapop Kids opportunity happen?
So, okay, going back to the Acapop Kids, that whole thing, it started out, I'm trying to remember specifically how it started out, because my dad actually worked very close with me for the longest time.
Okay.
On my socials, on my like just, my career in general. He worked very close with me, and I'm pretty sure that they set out some kind of audition stuff. Like there was like they sent out a form for auditioning, and I applied for it. I can't remember exactly the basis of it, but I do know this: we went down to Texas to audition for it in person. And basically, it was a singing test, and there was a dancing test, and there was like some other test that I can't remember. I think it was like harmonizing or blending with other people. And what happened is, and it's a kind of funny story. So I was dealing with super bad eczema at the time. Okay, so I have eczema, and it sometimes breaks really bad on like my feet, for example. And at this time, it was doing it oh so much. So we got there, and the singing part was fine. I just sang like a song that lent well to me, and the singing part was really no problem. They were like, "Yeah, we like your voice a lot for singing." I think I was like 15 at this time. Yeah, I think I was definitely 15. And then the dancing part of it came. I am not a good dancer. Okay, I am in this room. I can dance well. All right, in this very room, I can throw it back very well. But especially when I was 15, oh my god. You have to keep in mind, I've always been an introverted person. I've always been a pretty introverted person. Now I would say I'm more of an introvert just because I've been exposed to other people, and I've come out of my shell a bit more. But at the time, no. So they had this whole routine and everything, and I was so out of shape. It was not even funny. I was so out of shape. I was a goblin. I had that hunchback posture. And like I think it was only like 30 to 45 minutes. All the other kids were doing their routine. They were sweating a bit, but it's like, oh, we're having fun. Ooh, we were dancing to Finesse by Bruno Mars. I was dancing, and then I felt like I was gonna throw up, like straight up in front of all these kids. It was so embarrassing. My dad's like, "Stay in there. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Dad, I'm going to die." My feet were killing me because of that, eczema thing I was telling you about. And I was just so out of shape that I am so surprised that I got in through that process. Now, to be fair, I never took a role that was like dancing super hard or anything. But still, I felt horrible after that.
But it panned out for you. It worked
It
out.
sure did. It sure did.
I'm the same way with you. I am not a good dancer whatsoever. I think I am in a wedding, maybe
Yeah.
2.5 hours in. Everybody's a little tired. Then I'll be in the middle of the circle doing my thing. Or, like you said, here in my own apartment, I can drop some moves. But in front of people, yeah, no. But you know what? I commit. I commit to the dance move. That's what it is.
I do not. I do not do that. That's my issue. It's just that like I could dance decently if given a routine because like I have a good sense of rhythm
Okay.
just from being a musician. But applying that and then having the confidence because like a lot of people will have is they'll have this ability to just be like, oh, a song's playing, and then they're like, oh, we can dance to it and everything, and I'm like, okay, if I start dancing, am I going to look stupid?
Yeah.
If I start dancing right at this moment, okay. If I do, like, I overthink things so much, and I'm just generally a thinker of like everything. So like a lot of people can just feel out a song or something, or just feel out like energy with other people. I'm always thinking about it, and I hate that about myself. But I also don't hate it because it's something that's helped me with a lot of other places.
Yeah.
But I think it comes from being an introvert for so long.
Yeah.
That I'll always like overthink social situations. So like with dancing, I am just not the most confident. I will say that.
Because you were homeschooled. Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah. So I was I made it to middle school of I think it's like eighth grade or something like that. Yeah, eighth grade. Halfway through eighth grade, I started doing online school because I was going back and forth to Los Angeles so much that eventually I had to get out of school, and that meant 4 years of zero social contact or anything like that. Pretty much, yeah.
And then that's pretty wild because then you get this opportunity to go on The Voice.
Yeah.
So polar opposite where you aren't really dealing with people on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get thrusted into national television where Everybody's eyes and ears are on you. You are literally getting critiqued on national television. So talk to me about that experience.
Yeah. So just before that, I'll talk about this. You said not generally being exposed to social situations.
Yeah.
I would say more of not being exposed to social situations. Period. Because that's just how I was for the most part. I always found it. I've always found it difficult to make friends here in Oklahoma for some reason. I don't know why that is. I just generally have found it like difficult to like keep in touch with people.
Yep.
And that's just an issue with, I guess, me for the most part. But yeah, it was definitely a scary thing going to The Voice. Like on the days leading up to it, it was a pretty scary thing. Because it was also, keep in mind, I had just turned 18 shortly after that. And your parent, usually you will have like a parent with you if you're under the age of 18. And, that way you're not, a lone minor in a hotel with tons of other people. Obviously that would be a no-no. But I had always been with my parents. If I went out to LA or if I went out to, New York or something, I would always be with my parents. And this was the first time I was completely alone out in Los Angeles in a hotel performing on a gigantic stage for, celebrities. And at first it was very scary, but it ended up turning into like the most amazing thing, the most amazing experience ever. Because the other people there were just such awesome people. The other contestants, the people that work on the show and everything, they're just all such incredible people that it felt like home. It literally felt like home. And I get used to a place very quickly. Yeah. Waking up in that hotel, it felt like, oh, okay, this is just my life now. And they did a really good job of making it like feel comfortable. Now, what they do less of a good job of making you feel comfortable about is those leading moments to like your blind audition. That is terrifying. And I can talk about that if you want, but if you have anything to say.
Absolutely. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, so like you'll be in like a back room. Okay, you're waiting for your time, and they're like, they're doing makeup, they're doing everything. You got wardrobe that's looking at you and everything, and they're making sure everything is perfect for when you go out on stage. You're gonna be able to sing, you're gonna be able to do your thing, and you're gonna be able to walk off afterwards, whether you win or you lose. So there are so many things going through your head at that time. Every single passing moment is just anxiety building. And the worst part about it is not doing it itself. It's not. Because you've practiced this moment. You've rehearsed this moment over and over and over and over again. You are ready for this. Technically, you are ready for this. The thing is that it's the weight. Yeah. That's what kills you. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you might have heard this from other people before.
Absolutely.
If other people have come on.
Yep.
But it is waiting to do your song that is the worst part. Even in just those 5 minutes beforehand that you go on, you will be behind the door and you'll be hearing like all the things coming over the intercom and everything, and it's just terrifying because you know what's waiting out there for you. Your parents are on the right side of it. You don't know what's happening with them. You're worried about your song, but you're also worried about every other aspect of it. Yep. Like, I'm going to be talking to the coaches. These are celebrities, and everything, and I'm going to be on live television, or not live television, but you know what I mean, television. And it's such a scary thing.
I was just going to say, I have heard that from multiple people. I've heard people that have done other shows and they go, that stage is the scariest because of the weight. Yes.
Absolutely. 100%. Every single person there felt the same way. And there's like a lot of nuance to it. There are some things that can make it even worse. There's a lot of other things that happen on the show. For example, you can be a later person in the show, and it's like they have to have enough people to fill all the slots, but there are other people they have just in case those slots wouldn't get filled up. You know what I mean? So like sometimes people won't be able to go, and it's kind of a heartbreaking thing. But there's just all kinds of things like that it builds a lot of anxiety in those days leading up. But what really helps, what really it really makes it feel like home is the other contestants, because you will jam session with them. You will, go out to eat with them. You'll make relationships and everything. And it's just there's nothing like that, or at least not from what I've found.
It seems like it's one of those situations that you needed in your own personal life, because you talked about how for those 4 years prior, you were a little bit more reserved, introverted, and it's almost like you had to be thrown into this situation so that way you could overcome it and become this person who was able to gravitate towards other individuals. Because I feel like I relate to you in a sense. I'm from Massachusetts and New England, and for some reason, I have a hard time connecting with people in this area. I have
Yeah,
friends, don't get me wrong. I have decent friendships, but for some reason, I have a hard time just going out and like relating to people in this area. I don't know
yeah,
what it is. Similarly to you, there are times where I just feel like it's not my home in a sense, even though I've lived here for so long.
exactly.
So it's pretty interesting how everybody is different and how some people have similar experiences, even despite the fact that we've grown up in this area and this environment. But I'm happy for you that you were able to have that, because it sounds like it was something that you needed as an individual.
Dude, the absolute best friends I've ever made were on that show.
Yeah.
And they're still my friends to this day. But the thing is, they're all over the place, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, wherever. And really, what it is that I kind of realized that I was always wanting something like that, but I was always convincing myself that it's not what I wanted because it's what I could never get.
Right.
Before the show, I was just always on my own. I always dreamed of having like just a normal like social group, or just having like people in my own space, and that kind of thing just never really like came to me. And it was a big part of being homeschooled, I think, or doing online school. It's basically the same thing as doing homeschool, except for online school they just slap you with a bunch of random work that they found on YouTube, and they say, hey, watch this YouTube video. They don't ever make sure you're doing your work at all, so you can cheat on everything. It's great. But yeah, I mean, I never had any expectation to be in like a social situation. It didn't mean I was necessarily bad in a social situation, just because I've had to be in them in like crazy ways. Cause like I've been on TV before even that. Like I was on a thing called Music Cash when I was a lot younger. And I'd also done like Acapop at that time. And that just became kind of what I was comfortable around. So I had things like that, but I did not have like friends that I could relax around like I had at The Voice. That was really what it was. People that made me feel like I was at home.
Yes.
And yeah, I learned that that's something that I have in places that is not Oklahoma.
Yep. Well, I'm happy for you, bro.
Yeah.
I want to hear the biggest takeaway that you had from that experience.
The biggest takeaway. Man, that is a really tough question. I can say a bunch of takeaways that I have, and then maybe one of them will strike me as the biggest one. But for one, it really made me feel like I had something special. So it genuinely made me realize that I had something that I could like show people, like an emotion, an expression. Because like this is always something I've struggled to present, is just presenting myself as something that people can relate to, something that people can watch and be like. Because like just the other day, I was at a show and a person came up to me, and because like I sang Fall Out Boy as one of my live show things.
Love that.
And he was like, dude, that was so brave. That was so freaking cool that you would do a song like that on a stage, like in such a high pressure situation. And just something about being able to relate to people on such a grand scale. It's always something I wanted. And I really felt like I got that at The Voice. And I was like, it's kind of hard to describe, but it just made me feel like I had something special that I can like work upon. And don't even get me started on like what Gwen Stefani would tell me. She was super inspirational for me. She told me so many things about like, what I have potentially. And I could never thank her enough for everything she gave me and everything she did for me. That because she didn't have to do a lot of the things she did. She could have gone home at the end of the day, to Blake Shelton and relaxed, and because like she would always talk about Blake, and I'm like, yeah, I remember one of the funniest moments on my time in the show was that I was like, I saw Gwen for like knockouts, and I was like, oh man, how is Blake doing? And she's like, oh, he's doing so much better now that he's now that he's not on the show. I'm like, oh, great. But yeah, it's just, sorry, I went off on a complete tangent. My brain is not working.
That's perfect. That's fine. Because you got bounced around a lot. You got to work with Niall, then you worked with Gwen, then you worked with Chance. So it sounds like you were able to pull inspiration from every single one of them to realize that you are special. And I think that that's so important. I think self-belief is one of the most important things, especially as a singer, entertainment, whatever it is that you're, honestly, anything, but especially in a field like this, because especially in a field like you're doing with your music, your acting, self-belief, and you almost need that. And it's validating. It's validation to have these people say to you, Tanner, there's something about you and you can really go far. So I'm so proud of you, man. You did great on that show. Top 12, right? You finished out in the top 12? Yes. Yes, which is amazing. So kudos to you, dude. You wanna switch into some burning questions?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Have you ever unwrapped and rewrapped a gift saying that it was from you?
So can you explain the question? Hold up. I'm trying to make sure I understand.
Okay. Have you ever received a gift, unwrapped it, then looked at it and said, you know what? I'm not going to use this. Brought it home, rewrapped it, and then gave it to somebody else as a gift?
I have.
I
definitely have done that. Okay. So I one time received from a very close friend, I received a hoodie that had Sonic on it. Okay, and Shadow. Two Sonic themed hoodies. It was for I do believe this was for Christmas. Yes, this was for Christmas. And well, I don't play the Sonic games, you see. I'm more of a Mario guy. So I kind of gave both of those to my brother, and he loves them. They're like, it's great. It worked out perfectly. But that friend in question never really sees me wearing that. If that makes any sense. Yes, this exact thing has happened for sure, 100%.
My argument to that is, it's still a gift. It's
exactly
somebody else. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Precisely. 100%.
It still did its purpose, right? It served somebody, and it made them happy. That's always my argument to that.
100%. I agree.
Okay. Every time you walked into a room, what would you want a theme song to be? Every time Tanner walks into a room and a song plays, what would that song be?
Why is the first thing that comes to my head a Minecraft song? Okay. It has to be something like cool, I think. I'm gonna say man, dude, I hate the kind of questions that's like choose a song, because I listen to so much music every day. So I know what's gonna happen after this interview is I'm gonna be like, I could have said this song, I could have said that song. I think it would be False Confidence by Noah Khan.
Okay.
That would be it. Yeah, that song describes me exactly.
Okay.
Like that would be my theme song, my WWE, intro theme.
Yes. I love that. You know what? This is perfect because you're a friend of the Reyes Reflection now. Okay. You're sworn in. I normally swear you in at the end, but you're the first person I've ever done before the interview has even wrapped up. I always say you can always come back. So if you ever come back,
100%,
you're like,
dude, I would be so down.
You're like, dude, I don't know if that would be my theme song anymore. We can go ahead and add that. So perfect.
Absolutely. Also, I need to ask, what is yours?
Ooh.
Come on.
I like it.
That's a tough question, ain't it?
It is a tough question. Okay. Because you're a Fall Out Boy guy, I got one. Okay. Do you know the song Carpal Tunnel of Love?
I do. I love that. I just thought about that right as you said Fall Out Boy. I was like, I thought of either or also, man, West Coast Smoker. West Coast smoker.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as you said Fall Out Boy, I was like, oh, I made a mistake. Oh, okay, I got it.
Okay. We're changing.
We're changing. But now I have to think of which Panic one it is. It's either Hey Look Ma, I Made It, because me and my mom love that song, and it's the song that my mom. So like after the blinds, we got in the van with me, my mom, and my dad, and my mom. I gave my mom my AirPods, and I put on Hey Look Ma, I Made It, and I took some pictures of her while she was listening to it, and it was like the most proud moment of my life. It was because I got like the 3-chair turn, and it was super exciting, and my mom was just so overjoyed about everything. We were just like that moment. You just can't not talk about everything.
Yeah.
And like that's just such a moment that just kind of it almost puts me in my feels. I won't lie, just talking about it. But like that was one of the songs I played. But it's either that one or what is the song called? Oh, it's Saturday night. I'm praying and a da 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 da. Say amen. Say amen. I think is what it is.
Yes, I think yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that song. I love those songs, by the way. So yes.
Well, the song is so cool because like in the video, it's just Brendan Urie beating the crap out of everybody that's like invading his home for no reason.
Yeah.
And he's just doing it super casually. And I'm like, that is really cool. I need a music video like that.
I'm a big Panic at the Disco guy, so I love that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a huge one.
I'm going to add a couple questions to the screen. All right. And I want your input. Okay. Here we go.
Already.
If you're taking a bite of a sandwich, which one is your next bite? A, B, or C?
C.
C? Really?
C.
You're a C guy?
And if you choose A, you're an animal. I'm sorry, you're an animal. Like who is biting from A? Okay. How do you even ergonomically fit that side of the sandwich into your mouth? Like you're gonna get some jelly on your cheek. You don't want that. You bite C off because it is a more bitter taste because there's not as much jelly there. There's not as much substance there.
Yep.
But you're biting that part first because you're going to have to get to that part anyways, and you don't want to end off on C.
Right.
Okay. If you end off on C, then you're going to be dissatisfied. You want to leave the most flavorful part of the sandwich for the ending very clearly. So, and then you don't eat the end. So you'll go C, you'll go B, and then you'll go A, and A is all right. A will be all right by the time you eat B, but then you don't eat the ending crust because who cares? Okay, you don't need to do that.
Okay, so I thought you were gonna say C and then A, and then you chase it down with B, but you're saying C, B, and then because of the sweetness of B, it's not going to be as bad when you have to eat A.
Well, you got to keep this in mind. You're not going to eat the sandwich without like a drink or something. You know what I mean? So that's why you're like doing C. You take a drink.
Yep.
You do B. You take a drink, and then your mouth is like it's got enough moisture to take that bite of A, and it's just I'm sorry, it's just correct.
Okay. C.
I'm sorry, it's just factual.
All right.
But what would be your opinion? You wouldn't have said A, would you have?
No, I would not. No, I'm not a psychopath. I wouldn't have said A. I would have said B. I would have said B, then C, then A.
That's fair. Okay, I can accept that.
Okay.
That I can accept. I do think C is the worst, like tasting one, obviously.
Okay.
Because that's the edge. But at the same time, like you want to get the worst one in kind of the middle section. That way, you can like rise. Oh, and then this is like. We're at the peak here, and then it's not really going anywhere. And then we're like, oh my gosh, B and A are so good tasting, and you end off kind of neutral with the A.
I like that. I like that. I like this. Hey, I can't wait for this one. Then, okay, are you ready?
All right.
If a dog wore pants, would he wear them like this or like this? How
on earth is he wearing it? A? How are you putting that on? Can I ask you, like, who made this?
I've been told by people who are so I will get this off the rip. Mm-hmm. I'm a two-legged guy. I'm not a four-legged guy. But I've been told by people that the reason why you go four-legged is because they have four legs. But my argument is whenever you put on a little t-shirt on a doggy, it's always the front two. And that is their torso and that is their arms. And when they are picking and scratching themselves for the most part, they're using their front paws there. Yes, exactly. Yes, they use their back paws for their ears because they don't have it. You can't it's physically impossible for them to get it above there. So that
No,
is different. But I'm a two-legged guy.
it is very clearly B.
It is.
First of all, how do you put on A? How do you do it?
I don't know.
Because it don't make any sense. It just doesn't. If you look at it for 2 seconds, it just doesn't make any sense. You can't put it on. Period. Anyways,
Tanner, I've interviewed people that believe that it is the first one. Believe it or not, Tanner.
how, what are the ergonomics of that? How are they going to scratch their face, like you were saying before? Like, what are they going to do? Is it going to be tight? How does the fitting work for that?
Tanner,
There's no way.
your
Hey, you're
guess
going to
is
put a
as good
belt
as
around
mine.
their whole body?
I know.
Like, what?
Tanner, your guess is as good as mine. I don't understand the thought process of these people. I don't know.
Criminal.
It's one of those situations where you're just like, you know what? I disagree with you, but we have to share the spinning rock, and I will accept that. It is.
True.
Yeah.
Some people have to be right. Some people have to be wrong. It's just the way society works. It's all right.
Completely agreed. Plug in those socials. Where can people find you, listen to you, follow you on your journey?
Dude, I've had so much fun, man. My socials are Music by Tanner on Instagram.
Yep.
Music by Tanner on Twitter and TikTok as well. And then Tanner Massey on YouTube. And you can just also look at my website, tannermassey.com.
All right, dude.
Sorry, the lighting just got horrible randomly.
No, you know what? It was shining on you brightly because of how great you are.
Oh, yes, very great. No, I feel like I feel like for some weird reason my words, my speech has been like a 0 today.
No,
and I apologize for that.
dude.
Let me see if I can reset the lighting.
No, you were a great guest. As I mentioned earlier, you are always a friend of the podcast now. This is the official sworn in. You are now forever a friend of the show. It's almost like being an Avenger. So whenever,
Really?
yes, it is. It's just like that. We don't save the world, but we tantalize people with our conversations and our voices. So
I see. Yeah.
it's big doings, and you
So-
are now officially in.
Not very much like an Avenger. Not really, huh?
You know, in my world, it is. But you know, we don't have our own costumes or anything like that. But maybe one day I'll work on that.
Okay, gotcha. I'll I'll send you my sizes.
Perfect. Thank you so much again, my friend, for joining me on this episode of the pod. We are wrapped for this episode of the Reyes Reflection. Follow the show, share the show, follow me on those socials at I'm Nathanael Reyes, and check out our wonderful sponsors, Arave Cards, Jocko Fuel, and Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare. And as always, may you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I'm Oprah as a dude, and I love you all.